Hello everyone, I'm Archara and welcome to Tyranny. Tyranny's made by Obsidian. I believe they made Fallout New Vegas and The Outer Worlds 1 and 2. Tyranny is just one of my all-time favorite games. I don't know, I love the atmosphere, I love the choices, I love the factions, love everything about it, and I'm happy to be sharing it with my experience with you all on this playthrough. So, I've played this game twice, maybe three times. I've completed it once or twice. Definitely once though. I'm not sure if I completed it a second time. Difficulty. Will be playing normal. Will not be playing. We will not be playing New Game Plus. Expert disables a number of helper features in the game. Players launch the run. Okay, so in dialogue, it will usually say there are 5 choices, for example, and you need, like, each dialogue affects a different group of people depending on what you choose. It will disabling expert mode will not. It will. I mean, enabling an expert mode would mean it would not show you those, like, what factions it helps or doesn't help. Like, say, one dialogue was -5 to a faction, another dialogue was +5. It wouldn't show you that. With this disabled, it would show you that. So I think for roleplay, we're gonna enable that. And then Trial of Iron, only 1 save slot. No, we'll not do that because I'm not good at games. So, all right, here we go. Let's go.
For over 400 years, the armies of Kyros the Overlord have swept across the known world. All who stood against them fell before their might. Even the Archons, women and men of immense power, were forced to kneel, chained to the Overlord's will. Now Kyros' final conquest has come to our corner of the world, and 2 of the Overlord's armies compete for the honor of taking our lands. The elite disfavored, and the teeming horde of the Scarlet Chorus. The voices of Nerat, spymaster and Archon of secrets, guides the fierce and undisciplined masses of the Scarlet Chorus. With each battle, the Scarlet Chorus grows stronger, as the defeated are given a simple choice: serve or die. Graven Ash, Archon of War and the Overlord's most loyal general, leads the disfavored. Though small in number, Kyros' ironclad legion has never met true defeat in open battle. Watching over the 2 generals is Tunon, the Adjudicator, Archon of Justice, eldest of Kyros' minions. Tunon brings Kyros' laws to newly conquered lands, aided by the Fatebinders, judges and executioners of the Overlord's laws. You were among the youngest of the court of Fatebinders when Kyros' armies came to our lands. How could we have known that the fate of thousands would rest in your hands?
All right, this is the character creation. I will be reading the things that I choose, and then I'll just hover over the options I don't choose, and you can pause and read them if you'd like. All right, let's go. Alright, in the Northern Empire, where you were born, women enjoy equal protections under the laws of Overlord Kyros. In the southern lands of the Tiers, women may crew a ship, but only men may own or captain a vessel. While these customs give the oceans to the men, the lands are trusted to the women. Men may rent and lease, but only women may own land and bequeath it to their daughters and sisters. While following a parent's profession is standard, many women choose to pledge service to one of the Overlord's powerful Archons. Those without a viable trade or lands to call their own are often drafted into the armies of the Archons, where it is assumed they will rise to glory or vanish into obscurity according to their worth. And when it is highlighted, you get this little right click. Kyros is a name out of legends. For centuries, the Overlord has consolidated power, sending vast armies to swallow entire realms. The most powerful mystic the world has ever seen, Kyros can issue edicts, magical proclamations that level cities, spread pox, sunder the land, or change the course of seasons. The Archons, masters of magic throughout the known world, bowed to Kyros, and the Overlord readily destroys any Archon unwilling to kneel. These sorcerers and madmen lead the Overlord's armies in near endless conquest. As the realms of the known world fall to the Overlord, these captured territories are divvied up amongst the Archons to manage. Able to deliver suffering and woe to every corner of Terratus without leaving the capital. Few have seen the Overlord in person. Though Kyros' name is the single most recognized name in the world, only the Archons can say what the Overlord looks like. And then, let's see, face. Got some options. Alright. We'll go with this one. No, we'll go with that one. Hair. We'll probably go with that one.
Moving cautiously. On it. Found something.
On the hands. Yeah, I like that. And that's a good portrait. I hope it goes this way. That's the portrait I go with. I don't know what class I'm going yet. History. How did you join Kyros' army? We got Pit Fighter. And then if you wish to read it. A soldier. Hunter. Lawbreaker. Guild Apprentice. War Mage. Noble Scion. And then Diplomat. Alright, I think I'm going to... I'm probably going to be Soldier, Diplomat, or Scion. Let's see. Alright, your parents were accused of something. You went to defend them. I said something bad. I'm going to choose Diplomat. My weapon. Here are the weapons. Oh. Primary expertise. As one of Tunan's fate binders, you receive training. Well, actually, hold on. Let me go back and read Diplomat. Though they would never tell you why, Kyros bestowed great wealth upon your family for some unmentioned service, and your parents used this wealth to have you raised far from home. Your childhood was of a nomadic was a nomadic tour of Terratus with hired tutors and fleeting friendships. Where others had stability and routine, you had a worldly and varied education. A careless word in a far-flung city landed you in legal trouble, and you were taken before Tunon, the adjudicator, and made to stand trial. Not only did you plead your innocence, but you turned the accusations around on the accuser for wasting the court's time, and the Archon of Justice concurred. Amused by your wit and wisdom, and adaptability, Tunon claimed you as his newest enforcer. And now who is Tunon? Tunon the Adjudicator is the Archon of Justice, ruler of the conquered realms and arbiter of disputes. Oldest of the Archons sent to conquer the Tiers, Tunon speaks with Kyros' authority. His true appearance remains hidden behind an iron mask, the face of judgment. Tunon is an impartial, sober creature wholly obsessed with justice and order. Though assumed to be a powerful combatant, Tunon rarely strays from his throne room, entrusting his court of fate binders to act as his eyes and ears, as well as judges, juries, and executioners. So, we serve Tunon. This is what we did, you know. Someone started talking shit and we talked shit back. Tunon liked it, and now we're one of his, Oh. I thought maybe I could highlight that. I guess that's just a glitch. Primary expertise. As one of Tunon's fate binders, you receive training in the arts of war, the intrigue of magic, and the exhaustible depth of Kyros' law. Across the Northern Empire, the education of a fate binder is second to none. Those bearing the title are expected to read instructions and understand the economies of the realms in which they operate. Literacy and mathematics skills rarely found in Terratus are essential skills in the execution of law. Subtler talents like speechcraft or tactics are honed with time and experience under Tunon's guidance. What shall I'm not gonna go magic. I never really go magic in this, and it kind of sucks, or in games in general. It kind of sucks because in this game specifically it increases your lore skill. You need lore for it, but I just go lore anyway because that's what I like doing. I'm probably going to go wielding a two-handed. Would you focus on power of this? Okay, I think I'll probably go two-handed. Short bow. I think I'll go greatsword. Wielding a two-handed weapon puts your focus on power rather than speed. This is a slow attack style, but the damage you deal will often overcome the armor of your enemies. Well, I'll look at the skills later. They're coming. Choose an ability. I'll do cleave. Actually, I'll do sunder, because I also might just do war mace as well. I think they do different damage types. Slash pierce versus crush. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I get both. My banner. Is there a single sword facing up or down? Nope, then the two swords it is. We'll do that. Name? Archara. Alright, and these are my attributes. Might. Finesse. Well, might helps with attack and ability strength, specifically I think for like melee weapons. And then this helps with accuracy, finesse, accuracy and armor deflection. Then we got ability and spell cooldowns. Then we got vitality for health and will defense. We got wits, which is spells and magic defense. And then we got resolve, which is like affliction durations, like status effects, I believe. And then defense. I think I'm going to be putting 5 points here. No. Yes, I think that's what I'll do. Now, these are the skills I was talking about earlier. 20 points to put into both. And I usually go right into lore skills. And I dump it all. Dump it all into there. And then I might put 3 into there. Nah, I'm just gonna dump it all into here. But I'll go over the skills first. I'll just hover over them so you can see them. So these kind of help with like a dialogue sometimes. It's an athletics check, a lore check, and then these. So lore is pretty much like the stuff in the world. There'll be a lore check early, but we won't know when there's checks because I have expert mode enabled, so it'll just be a part of the dialogue. Let's see, parry is melee dodge. Oh no, yeah, parry's practically just melee dodge, and dodge is ranged dodge. Subterfuge. Oof. That's what I do, I think, because that also comes up in dialogue. We're going to do Conquest. Conquest is such a unique concept for a game. I love it. I hope more games do it. I really wish they make a second game, Tyranny 2, but they won't probably. It's, you know, they got other games like the Outer Worlds and stuff. But here's Conquest.
All the world has fallen to Kyros, and now the Overlord's eye is on the Tiers, our home. The last corner of the world free of Kyros' reign. 2 armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, march south from the Northern Empire, the last realm to fall to Kyros a century prior. In the early days of 428, Kyros' armies arrive at the Gates of Judgment, the mountainous border that we Tiersmen so long believed unassailable. Unable to agree on a unified plan of defense, the various leaders of the Tiers sit and wait for each other to deal with the conquerors, until it's too late.
And here is Conquest. During the Conquest, you will decide your actions during Kyros' invasion of the Tiers, shaping the world through which you will shaping the world through which you will adventure over the course of the game. Each choice you make affects your character and how major factions of the Tiers respond to you. Your decisions matter. Choose wisely. So basically, the Conquest is like the pre-game. The 2 armies, the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus, are trying to conquer the Tiers in the name of Kyros, and what we're about to do is like make the choices they make during the Conquest. Since we're a Fateminder, one of Tunon's boys, we were empowered to make decisions during the Conquest, and so let's make those decisions. 428 TR, year 1 of the Conquest. That was a beautiful animation. The Bastard City. The Bastard City stood on the northern border between Kyros' empire and the Tiers. Built upon a natural harbor at the crossroads between realms, the city was a nexus of commerce. To the Tiers, it was the center of all wealth. To a northerner, it was little more than a backwater trading post. Its symbolic status as a gateway to the continent made it a natural first target in Kyros' military conquest. Circumstances were ideal for you to prove your worth as a soldier in Kyros' armies. Taking the city would send a message to the rest of the tiers. Kyros' will is insurmountable. So the bastard city. Named for its position between the realms, the Northern Empire and the Southern Tiers, the bastard city and its surrounding lands, known as the Bastard Tier, is a melting pot of cultures and a place of commerce and intrigue. The Tiersmen of the South view the Bastard City as a place of wealth and excess, but to the people of the North, the Bastard City is little more than a sprawling slum. Tunon the Adjudicator established his court in the Bastard City. From this foothold in the Tiers, he and his court of Fatebinders impose Kyros' laws upon the conquered lands. Alright. How do we conquer it? Infiltrate. So we get two options and we get two options, two events, and then we get two options in the separate, like in the events. So, the Gates of Judgment. The armies of Kyros took to the battle to the Gate of Judgment, trumpeting the opening call of the conquest of the Tiers. The two armies, the Disfavored and Scarlet Corps, brought their distinctive sense of order and chaos to the assault. You went to the battle alongside the army whose approach best suited your strengths. Or infiltrate the Tiers. History would remember the Gates of Judgment as the first battle of the conquest, but the real combat unfolded with advanced units of both armies preparing for the coming war. The Disfavored and Scarlet Corps each had a plan to infiltrate the capital city. Which army did you choose? So we only get to choose one of these, and then we only choose one of the options. So, which one shall we do? I'm not going to be reading all of them, I'm only going to be reading the ones I do. So let's see. A warrior diplomat, but history would remember the Gates of Judgment as the first battle. Until we infiltrate the capital war. This is a hard one. I'll join the. I'm gonna do the battle, this one, and then let us look over the factions. The Disfavored, disciplined and battle-hardened, the Disfavored are an elite legion in Kyros' army. They spearhead the conquest of the younger realms, finding themselves always outnumbered but never outclassed. Led by the steadfast, dutiful Graven Ash, whom they follow with obsessive devotion, they are committed to imposing their interpretations of order upon the relative lawlessness of the Tiers. The Legion only tolerates Northerners in their ranks, priding themselves on their high standards and cultural purity. Scarlet Chorus. Scarlet Chorus is little more than a gang of thugs and their captive slaves. Rather than organized under commissioned officers, the Chorus follow a hierarchy of seemingly ruled by whoever has the bravado to command and defend their position. At the head of this chaotic pecking order, the Archon of Secrets, better known as the Voices of Narat, treats the Scarlet Chorus as his personal army. The Scarlet Chorus often suffers tremendous losses after battle, only to swell in the aftermath when captured enemies and collateral prisoners are given the cruel opportunity to join or die. Alright, and I think I'm going to choose to join the Disfavored along battle. Standing shield to shield with Kyros' ironclad elite, you advanced on the mercenary army purchased by the nobles of the Bastard City. The Legion wanted to send a message to the Tiers that superior breeding and disciplined training would win the day. I think maybe I'll just look at all the options so that way you can see them, but I won't read them. You can pause and read them if you'd like. But yep, I'll be choosing this. The Bastard City learned too late that a military is earned and never bought. The mercenary army quickly found themselves outclassed by superior tactics and the formation of the Disfavored. Those few who lived to the end of battle were rounded up, the weak executed, and the strong enslaved to hold the army's wagons on the journey south. And then we got these. I will not read them yet. Y'all can pause and read them if you'd like. And the options. Okay, I'm probably going to judge an enemy. You decided the fate of an enemy soldier's captured in battle. The soldiers of the tiers fell by the hundreds, and Kyros' armies could not agree on how to handle what few survivors they dragged back to the camp. Fitting your role, the commanders turned to you to decide the fate of those who occupied prison pens. There were only enough prisoners to support the plans of a single army. We'll conscript them. You gave prisoners the chance to serve in Kyros' army or die. The Scarlet Chorus was in need of extra troops to fill the vanguard, and your former enemies would occupy those slots nicely. Your armed cooperative ex-soldiers with scrap weapons. You armed cooperative ex-soldiers with scrap weapons and tossed them into the vanguard of the next Scarlet Chorus assault. Those who survived were welcome to take up arms and armor of the fallen and eke out a desperate struggle to survive in Kyros' military. After their first victory, you rewarded the new recruits with the opportunity to execute their wounded or reluctant countrymen. Taking the Bastard City. The armies of Kyros amassed around the Bastard City, the first bastion of the tiers to fall. Both armies longed to storm this walled outpost, the Scarlet Chorus howling for plunder, and the disfavored forming an unbreakable shield wall. Your prowess on the field of battle had carried them this far, but there was one more step before total victory. Both armies had inspired schemes to take the Bastard City. Which did you support? Alright, this is a third option, by the way. I'll not read them, but here you go. I'm not going to choose the Scarlet Chorus one on this one. I just don't think it's the right option. Oh, this one gives you abilities, by the way. These are the abilities. Pause if to read them if you want. I will probably be doing Assaulting, or I'll probably be doing this one. You led a mixed band of disfavored and Scarlet Chorus scouts over the city walls to sabotage its defenses. As opposed. Taking the Bastard City. Though it was challenging to earn the cooperation of both armies, their shared interest in taking down the city defenses allowed your scouts to work as a single unit. Once your forces scaled the walls, a mixture of tactics and savagery destabilized the city guard, who quickly lost their command over the defenses and were forced to surrender. Lacking the support of archers or siege weapons, the Bastard City fell quickly to Kyros' superior might. And so we have conquered the Bastard Tiers, and now we move on. The Bastard Tiers settled into a new state of normalcy, with every tower displaying Kyros' banner. Your name was whispered alongside rumors of a decorated career to come. The armies divided into two fronts. In migrated south, Tunon sent word that you were to join the next frontier of Kyros' conquest, either as a judge and overseer of the settlement of Lethian's Crossing, or as a war advisor with the armies advancing into the realm of Apex. I think I will go to the Apex. The mountain nation of Apex, ruled for generations by the queens of House Vendrian, stood at the heart of the tiers. No army could bypass the landlocked realm without leaving their flank exposed to attack. By the second year of the war, the disfavored and Scarlet Chorus had pushed deep into the tiers. Elements of both armies were dispatched to conquer Apex. Tunon assigned you to accompany them, tasked with bringing Kyros' law to the territory as well as keeping an eye on both armies. Denial of Strength. The Battle of Edgering Pass. I'll be doing the Battle of Edgering Pass. The disfavored sent their most destructive ally to Edgering Fort. Cairn, the Archon of Stone, buried the stronghold under an avalanche triggered from the surrounding mountains. The Scarlet Chorus were promised captured enemies for recruitment, yet none survived the onslaught. The chorus demanded compensation. I'm gonna side with the disfavored. But before I read that, let me tell you who Karn is. Karn. As tall as the hills, Karn is the Archon of Stone, master of earth and soil, destroyer of mountains and cities. Karn is the reluctant leader of the Earthshaker Guild, though he is less their teacher and more their object of study. The massive Archon is sworn to graven ash and provides arcane support to the disfavored war effort. You congratulate the disfavored for taking the pass without risking the lives of Kyros' loyal servants. At this stage of the campaign, it is vital to use any advantage that would mitigate ally losses. The Scarlet Chorus's claims were insignificant compared to the lossless victory. You congratulate the disfavored and encourage the Scarlet Chorus to better value their soldiers' lives, a suggestion that gang bosses took worse than the original offense. Vowing to remember this, the slighted army returned to the camp to sulk, if not to lick their wounds. Alright. I'll be choosing this one. The Marriage Bed Armistice. The enemy readied for a peacetime festival as Kyros' forces armed for battle. The disfavored paid no mind to the southern custom and planned to attack Vendrian forces during their annual celebration. The Scar Corson insisted on a day of non-violence. As former tearsmen, many could grasp the decency of a temporary reprieve. And I'm gonna choose the Scarlet Chorus plan. You offer the locals their last feast, sending a few Scarlet Chorus agents to mix in good faith. The army hoped that the gesture would foster an air of partnership for the occupation to come. The festivities went off as expected, and the Scarlet Chorus recruits you sent to enjoy themselves reported little animosity among their revelers. The disfavored protested your rulings as too merciful, and waged an all-night training drills to combat the sounds of celebrations with an anthem of swords and shields. You sent forces to attack the following day, a battle from which the disfavored rescued themselves out of protest. With the defeat of Apex and inevitability, the army of Kyros met to discuss how to put an end to this stage of the conquest. Both armies agreed to send an offer to parley. Along with their acceptance, the enemy requested that you appear at a meeting. Word of your fair dealings had apparently spread to their ranks. How did you orchestrate the surrender of the realm of Apex? Will negotiate a surrender. Through days of mediation, you negotiated the surrender of the valley to Kyros' forces, putting an end to further bloodshed. Your former enemies were loath to part with their lands, but they were even more reluctant to continue a war they were losing at every turn. The Tearsmen were a stubborn lot, and despite their grim situation, it still took days of discussion and diplomacy to show them the madness of tenacity. On the third day of mediation, the rulers of Apex finally submit to your terms of surrender, putting an end to the war in the valley, freeing up Kyros' forces to march deeper into the tiers. The lands of Apex finally rested in the hands of Kyros' forces. The Scarlet Chorus paused to revel in the victory, while the disfavored prepared for the next fight, affording themselves but an evening's rest. Kyros' armies radiated from the conquered citadel and worked their way across the tiers. The disfavored and Scarlet Chorus aimed to dominate as much territory as possible in the coming year. Your distinguished reputation in Kyros' military left you a choice of your next destination. The choice of your next destination is yours to make. You got Stalwart, which is a military place. I'm gonna go to Stalwart. The realm of SWTOR was best known for its proud army, disciplined, courageous, and undefeated on their home soil. Skill and resolve made SWTOR a military power that Kyros' forces approached with due caution. Had to cough, sorry. With its southern position, SWTOR has been largely safe from war, watching for 2 years as its neighbors fell to Kyros' forces. On the dawn of the third year of the war, Kyros' forces were finally poised to invade the stalwart peninsula and subdue the tier's most vaunted army. Alright, what am I gonna do? Let's see. The stalwart defenders burned their crops as they retreated, leaving the invaders little to forage. Starving, the Scarlet Corps mob raided from the disfavored's well-maintained supply lines, incurring casualties on both sides. I'm gonna punish them. You ordered that the thieving Scarlet Corps soldiers be spiked for their affront. Even in time of war, there was no excuse for allied armies to battle each other in violation of Kyros' peace. The disfavored rightly argued that they only had enough supplies to feed their troops. The Scarlet Corps needed to better look after their own people. Agreeing with their assessment, you had their offenders staked outside the Scarlet Corps camp, left to send message that hunger was no shield from justice. I'm gonna do this one. Rather than submit to the Scarlet Corps conscription, conquered locals began committing suicide. Desperate to add more bodies to the horde, the Scarlet Corps demanded a portion of disfavored prisoners. The disfavored denied the right of recruitment, as the realm's population had taken a steep decline. You banned the Scarlet Corps from recruiting in the realms of SWTOR, going so far as to notify the locals to assuage their fears. You agreed with the disfavored arguments. This conquest was never about rolling a graveyard, but the Scarlet Corps acted contrary to that goal. The voices of Narat and his mobs blamed you for suppressing their ability to conduct war as they saw fit. In spite of their protests, you read this proclamation in every conquered village, knowing that enemy spies would hear your verdict. Voices of Narat. Known in his official capacity as the Archon of Secrets, the Voices of Narat is an equal parts genius and madman. Rumors abound that he can steal the minds of others, though few, if any, are alive to confirm as much. The subject of his interrogations are never heard from again, and the Archon is able to recall the memories of his victims with startling accuracy. He is the inconsistent leader of the Scarlet Corps, vacillating between commanding from the vanguard and directing his armies in absentia. Despite his strange methods, no one doubts that the Voices of Narat is an accomplished strategist, even suggesting that his madness stems from thinking hundreds, perhaps thousands of steps ahead of his enemies. The Edict of Storms. The disfavored carved a slow, steady path into the hearts of SWTOR and surrounded the enemy's massive fortress with the main bulk of their forces defeated. The enemy leadership retreated to their mighty fortress, content to wait out the war. The Overlord answered this impudence with an Edict of Storms on the peninsula, a devastating spell that would endure for as long as the cowardly hearts of the stalwart's leaders persisted in beating. Knowing you had the trust of Graven Ash, Tunon deemed you the proper representative to deliver Kyros' edict. Aside from giving a 3-day window to read the edict, you received no other instructions. I'll start with Graven Ash. The last of the great northern generals to stand against the Overlord in ages past, Archon Graven Ash now serves Kyros as supreme commander of the disfavored legion, and is charged with conquering the tiers. Graven Ash shares a powerful bond with the soldiers under his command and regards each of them as family. The death of a soldier at enemy hands represents a grievous loss to the old general, who bears the burden of his love with mournful stoicism. Edict. Kyros' most powerful magic is that of the Edict, commandments cast upon the whole regions that can control and destroy man and nature alike. Once cast, an edict can rain fire, wither crops, demoralize cities, usher in endless night, or do whatever it is that Kyros envisioned. No known force, magical or mundane, can stop an edict, though each edict is often worded to include some condition or contingency that will see its end. Some edicts have been short-lived, delivering days of wanton catastrophe, just as many have lingered for centuries. I'm going to do this one. In an attempt to ingratiate themselves with the people of SWTOR, the Scarlet Chorus insisted that a warning be sent to the towns and villages so that people may prepare for the horror about to descend upon them. Kyros' wrath was intended for the cowardly regents of SWTOR, not those unfortunates swept up in the calamity of their leadership. A warning in advance of the spell would give locals time to prepare for the devastation to come. You were content to let the punishment fall on the innocent as lightly as Kyros' will allows. Comforted that you may yet spare lives, you broke the seal of Kyros' Edict of Storms and read the Overlord's incantation. The clear skies darkened as you read the final words of the edict. A flurry of winds and rain whipped through the rolling plains and craggy canyons, turning rocks, uprooted trees, and hapless soldiers into hazardous shrapnel. Armed with a measure of foresight, you were able to remove yourself from the area before the storms grew more violent. Over time, nearby communities told of cyclones consisting of thousands of soldiers' worth of limbs, spears, armor, and skulls. What's more, the weather showed no signs of dissipating. Several units of disfavored who fought the enemy in spite of the advancing form were caught up in the Overlord's magic. The few survivors regrouped and nursed their wounds. Their failure to top out the stalwart legion shamed them into believing the dead more fortunate. The name Stalwart fell from use. People took to calling it the Blade Grave, for the remade landscape festooned with iron and bronze armaments of two once great legions. As Kyros' forces departed, you spared a glance back at the ruins of Stalwart, marveling at your work. You didn't have long to rest before Tunon called you into service once more. Alright. Blade Grave. The Blade Grave is the name given to what remains of the realm of Stalwart after its ruination when Kyros proclaimed the Edicts of Storms upon the land. The magical storm struck the disfavored unbroken armies during the height of their engagement. Now, most of what remains is a blighted landscape of discarded armor, weapons, and high winds of rust and human dust. We have been called into service once more by Tunon. And that was Conquest. Now we play the game.
The year is 431. And Kyros' invasion has shattered all major opposition in the tiers. The Younger Realms, the Bastard Tier, the Free Cities. All who defied Kyros lay broken by battle, or bowed in surrender. The two armies of the Overlord, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, now control our lands. But our will is not yet extinguished. Not entirely. In the Valley of Vendrian's Well, those of us unwilling to bow to Kyros have banded together in defiance. Violating an oath of surrender from 2 years prior, we have staged a bloody uprising. murdering the disfavored and Scarlet Chorus garrison in a midnight assault. With their main forces spread across the tiers, the disfavored and Scarlet Chorus redeploy to Vendrian's Well to crush the resistance. But months pass with no definitive battle. As disagreement and discord paralyze the Archons, we bide our time and wait for our message of insurrection to spread across the tiers. The Overlord is not amused, and Kyros has one message for the Archons: crush the Oathbreakers or die. Kyros backs this threat with an edict, a magical commandment that can slay all in the valley should the order be ignored. The honor of proclaiming this edict fell to you. Sent across the mountains to Vendrian's Well, you carry the Overlord's edict to read before the Archons. As you finally make your way through the winding mountain passes into the valley, the ground trembles, and Kyros' magic seals the way behind you. You are trapped in Vendrian's Well, with Kyros' armies and the Oathbreakers. The only way to survive is to fulfill the terms of the Overlord's edict, in any way that you can.
Hi. Kyros the Overlord be praised. When I heard the avalanche, I feared the valley was sealed with you on the other side. The disfavored warrior claps her gauntlets to her breastplate, the traditional salute of her legion. I gained favor with the disfavored. I thought I had that turned off. Oops. I guess that just doesn't get turned off with expert mode. I bid you a welcome to Vendrian's Well. The altitude here is still dizzying, and the locals still revolting. Doubly so this time around, as they pissed on that peace accord you offered them. Edgering Pass is still as you remember it. I was hoping to have the warriors celebrate your return with a proper feast, but I'm told you have places to be. Vendrian's Well. Vendrian's Well is the name of the central plateau of the Piers, a mountain-ringed valley of rivers, floodplains, and scattered farmlands once ruled by House Vendrian of the realm of Apex. At the heart of the valley is the mountain spire, and at the base of the massive stone structure is an old citadel built centuries ago and largely left unused until recent times. As the architect of the surrender of the realm of Apex, you played a vital role in the conquest of Vendrian's Well. In the year 429 TR, the Vendrian Guard, the oldest fighting company in Apex, reneged on this surrender in the beginning of 431 TR. Can you hear that hum in the air? That glow around the rocks? The avalanche is Kyros' magic. The Overlord seed the valley. Your senses are more... I gain lore experience, nice. Your senses see more than mine, good Fatebinder. I do not pretend to know much about such things, but if that was Kyros' magic and you're here on important business, well, you don't have to be the Archon of Secrets to guess that you're here to reclaim an edict. What does Kyros have in store for the enemy? 10 years of festering plague? An edict of twisted bones? I come bearing an edict with Kyros. Our soldiers will complete their task or die. The edict is leveled against us. Her eyes widen with fear, her posture slackens. But the Scarlet Chorus prevents us from taking action. Why would the Overlord punish both of us? She clears her throat with a sigh. Forgive me, it is not my place to question. We should have conquered the enemy within weeks of arriving in the valley. The delay reflects poorly on us all. So when it said I got lore points and stuff, that's what expert mode does. It disables what it tells me. Like if I said this, it would probably lower disfavored reputation. But I'm going to say this, if we all follow Kyros' will and stop the insurrection, no harm will come to any of us. I've seen why they call you the Stormcaller. I saw firsthand what happened at SWTOR for their refusal to fight. Now we are the ones guilty of stalling and offending the Overlord. She clears her throat, blinking quickly as she recovers her composure. I'm sorry, as you said, if we follow Kyros' will, there's no need for concern. As ever the case. Well, you traveled a long way, I won't keep you further. I'm sure the Archons will want to hear from you at... Her voice falls silent, her attention snapping eastward with an alarm. Did you hear that? More runners, third time this week. The Oathbreakers keep trying to send messages through the mountain to gather help from the outside valley. She points over to the collapsed path by which you arrived, but they're a bit too late for that now. Come, let's show these Oathbreakers a good fight. In honor of Avenging Guard reneging on their surrender of 429, soldiers in both Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus now refer to these tiersmen as Oathbreakers. It is perhaps one of the few points of agreements between the Scarlet Chorus and Disfavored. Okay, let's fight. Before we do that, yeah, I'm not doing that. Controls.
Will right.
Okay, that's the sound sort of peaking a bit. And then we'll lower you to 80 because we do want you to be loud. That seems fun. Yep,
Right.
everything seems good. Okay, my skills thrust. Let's do it. So as you see, the combat sort of happens in turns, but the turns are real time. So like
Sorry, I can't.
I'm sundering him. I
got
believe,
it.
yeah, I'm sundering him, but when it's my turn, I will. There we go. See, that's one down. Let's check further along the path for more. Potion of Protection and Whetstone. The avalanche has blocked us. You think you could fit through the rubble? Squeeze through the gap. Move the boulder. I'm gonna move the boulder.
Will do. Heads up, we have company.
Her ass just left. Okay, you need to live.
Right. I got it. I got it. Right. Will do.
Nice.
Right.
Don't bother with me. Go down to the pass. Drostis. The soldier clutches his gut and winces. You can see a hint of entrails between his fingers. You're wounded. It is not trivial. He laughs through clenched teeth. This, but a scratch. I've seen twice as worse 10 times over. He doubles over in pain. If you'll let me help. I said I'm fine. Graven Ash protects. You go on and help others. Graven Ash, Archon of War, is capable of shielding his soldiers from injury and fatigue. This protective influence exerts itself even from far away or even as he sleeps. If he sleeps, rumored disagree. Few understand how this arcane power works, but all who have faced the Disfavored in battle will attest that Ash's soldiers can survive serious harm and shrug off the fatigue and starvation or long marches in heavy armor. When Disfavored are wounded, Ash's Aegis, or some refer to the Archon's unique power, or as some refer to the power, appears to help the Disfavored swiftly recuperate, return to battle. Okay. He has invincibility.
Try and catch me, worm.
A young Scarlet Fury weaves around the Vendrian Guard attackers, avoiding their weapon with fluid grace. She nods to acknowledge you. Scarlet Furies are elite fighters of the Scarlet Chorus, distinguished by their graceful attacks and murderous persistence. Better armed and trained than most Chorus conscripts, the Furies are found among the vanguard of battle. Their brutal displays of skill inspiring bloodlust in the masses and fear in the enemy. Sun Soldier. A breathless enemy soldier passes a glance at to her countrymen. This one's crazy. Too much lead in our water. We should cut our losses and turn back.
Fate Finder. Here at last. Care to join me in putting these cowards out of their misery?
Save some for me. For the realm of Apex, charge.
I got it.
Oh shit, I'm controlling both. I forgot. Okay, and then...
For the Queen! Count on it. I see as the crow flies. I'll tear your scalp out by your... We can do this! On it.
So it looks like we have an attack between two of us per encounter.